hello. Welcome to another session of the ECOMANSA Dialogue program that's brought to you by the School of Business and Public Administration under the Information and Communications Ministry of ECOMANSA. So, my name is Sahnambai and I'll be your host for today's session. Today we are honored to have with us here Research Director of ECOMANSA Research Trip 2026 and Deputy Research Director of the ECOMANSA Research Trip 2026. They're here to share with us about the first phase of the research trip and the second phase, which is yet to begin. So, welcome to the ECOMANSA Dialogue, Mr. Mohammed and Mamadi. To begin with, could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, thank you, Sana, so much, and thank you, SS Media, for having us here. It's indeed an honor to be here. My name is Mohammed Sen, the Research Director of ECOMANSA 2026, and I am very glad to be here to share our experiences of the first phase and towards the second phase.
Yes, thank you once again. I'm also honored to be here. I would like to thank the SS Media also for hosting this program. I'm Sona also here. My name is Mamadi Jame, a final year economics student. I'm the Deputy Research Director of ECOMANSA 2026. Once again, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, Research Director and Deputy Research Director, for the brief introduction. So we are going to begin with the first phase of the ECOMANSA research, which was conducted in Dakar. Could you please tell us briefly what were the objectives that were set to be achieved in Dakar as far as the research was concerned?
Yeah, thank you for that brilliant question, Sana. So the core objective of our research was to analyze the different support interventions that the farmers or the youth farmers have received in horticulture. So the supports range from the training that they have received and the incubation and also the training and cooperative that they were part of. As we all know that the farmers may be part of the cooperative and also part of a training program that they have received initially during their commencement of farming. So we try to analyze individual or to the combination of all these support systems and we see which one works best for the farmers or the youth farmers of Senegal, and also to transfer these supports that they have received to the Gambia. So this was our main objective or the core objective of our research in Senegal.
Thank you very much, Research Director. So secondly, we move to his deputy, who is Mr. Mamadi. Mr. Mamadi, during your time in Senegal, what methods or what specific methods were used in conducting the research? Like, for example, were there interviews, were there field observations or stakeholder engagements?
Okay, once again, thanks for that beautiful question. To proceed, from your question, we have developed or employed, I can say, a mixed method. When I say mixed method, in a simple time, just means for different stakeholders, we just develop different instruments that suits the data collection method. In order for the farmers, we conducted a structured survey interview for the farmers, and we do also have a separate instrument for the program managers. That's the main focus was to implement the KIIs, that is key informal interviews. We also developed the FDDs, that are the focus group discussions. For the structured interviews, was directed to the farmers. So we conducted a structured survey with each individual farmers. And before we left to the Gambia, we have a targeted number. And this number was, we wanted to interview about 400 participants or farmers. This indeed is a large number. So we went with this aim. Yeah, I can say, alhamdulillah, 95% of our objective was achieved due to the, I can say, the dedication of the research team also. This, once again, hands up to them. Also, we did, for the KIIs, was directed to the program managers and the presidents of different farmers, I can say, support system, like the training, those who provide the trainings, the president of the cooperative models, I can say. You have president of the incubation models like the media platform and the different model types, and you have market link programs also. For the focus group discussion also was also directed to certain amount of youths, like a group of youths that specific questions were asked to them to have some insights about how farming in Senegal look like. So each of this group the internal question was to have some insights about the how farming operates in Senegal. For the farmers, we try to understand the support system they receive. For the president or the program managers, we try to understand how operations or some of the administrative rules they have played for this to be successful. And for the youth participants, we try to understand their shared experience within this time frame. Yeah.
Well said. Interesting. That's interesting. So, to the next question, rather, Mr. Mohammed, what were the key institutions or organizations you partnered with or you engaged with during the research trip, and how relevant were they to in concern to the research?
Yeah, the key institutions or the organizations that we were able to engage was mainly the youth, the youth farmers, because these were our targeted audience for our research, and they were the population that were mainly targeted for our research during the data collection. Yeah, they were the individuals that we were mainly targeting, and we successfully conducted 342 interviews of the youth farmers who have shared their stories and their success, and also their challenges that they went through. So per se, they are the institutions that we were really targeting. We also visited the farms like Kayar and also in Noto and in Sangalkam. So all these farms have institutions. Let's say especially Kayar and Noto. They are mainly engaged in export production and mainly for also domestic use of their goods. So all those institutions were also visited. We also engaged with SIMA Research Institute. So that was a very important institution in the Gambia who have provided the technical skills and the help that was required for us to be able to register success in this research, because they provided a key individual, that is Ibrahim Apore, who was able to guide us through the methodological part and even the choosing of the topic. From the choosing of the topic to the development of the proposal of this research, he was very instrumental in helping us and guiding us through the way in order to meet the research standards. So he was very helpful too and was provided by the SIMA Research Institute. And also we were able to engage with the UCAR students, the University of St. Andrew Job students, who were really helpful in helping us to navigate through Senegal and also helping us in the communication process. Yeah, so those are the main institutions that we were able to link with to actually achieve success in Senegal that we have registered.
Well said, Director. So, from your perspective, Deputy, what were some of the most important insights emerging from the data collection?
I can say this indeed exact question. Since the data you have collected, it's just, I can say, it's raw right now. Right now, it may not speak in volumes that you expected it to speak. Right now, it's just raw data. You only collected the first phase, that is in Senegal. The second phase is coming for, that is in Uganda. So for me to tell you exactly what the data speaks right now, that will be for what. Still now with that data, you can even trace out some of patterns that have been developed. So with that, I can say, the main purpose of the study, in fact, is to examine. I can say it's farmer centered. Now to look at different support interventions, how they help farmers or youth agribusinesses grow in Senegal and Gambia. So from this, from the data collected, you can able to trace out different. What are some of these success, some of these supports that enable this success. From the data collected, you can able to see farmers who have the training. They are given startups. They don't only have the training, but they are given something to start up their business. And not only that, but they are part of maybe a cooperative group. And with that also, they have market linkage. For those people are expected to produce stronger outcomes than only farmers who have the training. You have any training without market linkage or market linkage or being part of a cooperative. In fact, I can say the little impact we may have is always small. So from this, we are able to trace out different support programs. How do they affect different youth farmers? So farmers who have the training needed, they have the startup, they are given the startup, and they are part of a cooperative, that is a group where different farmers come pull out their resources to make their farming work easier, buy fertilizer collectively, bargain for prices collectively, and they also have market linkage, better market linkage. I can say the overall goal, in fact, when you as a producer, after producing, you want to sell your goods. So those they are not only having training, but at the point of even planting, they only have buyers already who are willing to buy their goods once the goods have been harvested. So that alone, we have already we have from our data, we are able to trace some of these patterns. So at this stage, you want to check if in the Gambia, whether farmers also are also identified or classified into some of these categories I have named. Whether in the Gambia, you might find some youthful farmers who have the trade, who are giving training in agriculture, I can say. Because farming now has already modernized. Now we have moved to the traditional way of farming. Now things the world have evolved. So now we want to know whether farmers in the Gambia have provided these necessary skills and training to conduct farming in this 21st century. Whether also they are giving startup support as youths. Right now, maybe some of them are not working. For them to have the money to start up farming, it's always difficult. But if they are giving startups, this will motivate them to embark on the journey. Whether also to government also have they're developing initiatives to group farmers into cooperatives so that different youths can come together, pull out their resources. Even when the government is not willing to support, they can come together, pull out their resources, start up the business, and they will thrive on it. And also, whether the government also have placed some strategies to enable market easy for those farmers. At the end, after producing, your goods need to be sold, I can say. So you cannot be producing while you are in a dismayed. Maybe after the end of the season, I might not have someone to buy my goods. So all these things will be clear to the farmer. So basically, our main aim is to analyze all these factors I have listed out. Yes, and for the integration part of it, you have I mentioned. After I identify some of these patterns we have identified from our data collection, we try to see now what works best for Senegal and does it work for Gambia. So at that stage now, we can able to see the difference between the two sides. And if the Senegal have registered more success, then we ask ourselves, does this happen in the Gambia? If the answer is no, then how can we integrate it also? This is the mindset of each and every enumerator who lives in the Gambia to go to Senegal. It our mindset is to develop solutions that can help us, our nation thrive also.
Well said, Deputy. That was intriguing. So, to the research director, we all know conducting a research outside one's country can present challenges. Of course, contextual. It could be language barrier because we all know the lingua franca of our country and that of Senegal is different. We speak English here and they speak French, so that could be a challenge as well. But briefly, what were some of the challenges you faced while in the research?
Yeah, some of the issues or the challenges that we face in our stay in Senegal for the data collection was mainly due to the transportation problem, the to and from where we were staying. Yeah, so we were staying in Dakar, and most of the sites that we identified are at Kayar and Sangalkam and Noto. So those are 2 hours or 2 hours minimum drive from the place where we were basing. So to go and come, it sometimes bring a problem, but we were able to navigate those issues through our consistent deliberations. And also, the farmlands that, especially in Noto and Care, the farmlands where the farmlands are located, they are in a terrain sort of, in a hill sort of. So you will have to do enumerators were able to walk kilometers away from the where our boss was parking to locate the farmers for interview. It was between kilometers away. So the enumerators, through their consistency and also their commitment to this research, were able to walk those kilometers in order to achieve success and in the data collection and interview that they were doing for the respondents. And also another key issue is also the issue of the language barrier, which was a problem, which was a very big problem. We all understand that Gambia and Senegal speak Wolof, but the Wolof at which we speak is kind of different because Senegal have a more deeper Wolof. So here we don't speak that Wolof that they understand. So that was an issue, but through our rigorous progress and practices, we were able to navigate that issue while training, and because we had intensive training whereby we will understand the language, and also the questionnaire that was developed, it was translated into Wolof, and the enumerators did their best into understanding every single context that was in the questionnaire. Yeah, so those were our issues, and yeah, it was not big issues, but we were able to write off those issues that we faced.
So now that the second phase or the first phase of the research trip, which was conducted in Dakar, has been completed, I want to ask, could you explain what the second phase of the research here in the Gambia would involve?
Thanks once again for that question again. Just I can say the same method that we are applied in Senegal and the same approach that are going to apply in Gambia also. So for you to activate that compatibility method of the study, what you have the systematic approach that I have used in Senegal should be the same systematic approach you are going to use in the Gambia. So in Senegal, we conducted structured interviews with farmers, KIS, and FBGs. That is the same thing also we intended to for the Gambia. So for the Gambia also, we also intended to conduct a structured interview. And for this also should be directed to different farmers within the Gambian region. When we went to Senegal, our focus was we focused on the Nice game. That is it ranges from Dakar to Saint Louis. That area basically they focus on I would say this horticulture only. I would say 90% of Senegal's produce come from that side, and this is well documented. So in the Gambia also forced to achieve that comparative measure also. We should also focus on areas that also focus heavily on horticulture, and at the same time also uh, focus heavily on horticulture, forced to achieve that comparative measure also. So we have already identified some of these sites we intended to undertake for this second phase. And also our targeted number, since in Senegal, our targeted respondent was 400, but we were able to achieve about 342 hours total respondents. Here also the same thing. That's the same amount of respondents we are expecting in the Gambia. When it comes to key informant interviews also, we intended to conduct this also within the Gambia with different program managers, presidents, those who do the lay out, like I said, the administrative work, and how also an FGD, a focus group discussion for the different farmers group and who might share their experience also on how they undertake this journey also. So basically, like I say, the second phase in the Gambia, so that we mirror what we have conducted in Senegal. That is in summary. Thank you.
Good. So, to the research director, how will the data collection in Senegal be compared or integrated to the Gambian context? Will there be local field visits or stakeholder engagement?
Yeah, thank you, Sona. So the comparative nature of our study, as Mamadi just mentioned, we are conducting a comparative study between the Gambia and Senegal. So the methodology that we use in Senegal will be used in Gambia for comparative nature. So we will involve the local farmers or institutions here as we interviewed in Senegal to make sure that there is a comparative nature in our research. Yeah, we will conduct our data collection using the questionnaire that was administered to farmers in Senegal to be administered to farmers in the Gambia to be able to compare the nature of the support that we are receiving in Senegal and the Gambia. So we will be able to compare the outcomes, the incomes, the support interventions that was received in the Gambia and which one was more effective in Senegal to be transferred to the Gambia, or whether the practices in Senegal can be actually transferred to the Gambia. Those ones will be compared during our data analysis and provide reports, evidence-based reports through shared information from Senegal to the Gambia. So that is how we are going to conduct the interview and the engagements in the Gambia.
So, what role will SBPA students have in the second phase of the research trip? What impact will the research have on them? Will there be opportunities for participation on academic presentation and
This question, we have from our discussion, I think we have already answered so part of it.
sure.
Yes. What will SBBS students get from this? In fact, at the first stage, before even the department, it's the SBBS students who are mainly engaged in this research. So I can say firstly, what they will have is a hands-on practice or hands-on experience, I can say. Because now all the theories they have been learning in class are already being put in place now. We have already been learning, let's say, abstract things, like I say, in school. But this is an opportunity for us to apply this into the real world context. So SBS students will be exposed on how research is done in real world, I can say. The SBBS students will be exposed on how we engage on policy relevant issues in this country. So, as I say, when we are living in this country, we don't live this country as just students, but we live this country as national problem solvers. We don't confine ourselves maybe as SBBS students only. The problem we are saying as a country, it doesn't affect only, as I say, the older people or the, as I say, one part of the Gambia. No, all of us are living the experience. So as we are students live the Gambia, not only as students, but as national problem solvers. So when we go to the Gambia, to Senegal, we want to display that we want to collect data or information that will help us our country grow as a nation. So SBA students will have first hands-on practice or hands-on experience knowledge. They have the knowledge on how research is done in real-world settings, data collection, how data collection is done. They will expose on engagements on how policy relevant issues are also undertaken in the real-world settings. So basically, all this combined will be equipped in all students that have participated. On participation also, you have also mentioned it. Yes, students will be participating in data collection. Some of them are part of the enumerators. Some of them are also part of supervisors. So all of these are important roles that may expand their academic career, I can say, and it's something that it doesn't also only stop at the Gambia, but as they are growing, maybe in the academic career, they might just benefit other part of the world, not confined to the Gambia. So there's huge benefit in participating in research, I can say. So if I could encourage all students to embark on this, so that will be a motivation for me. So for me also, I can say I'm also happy to be part of this journey because it's an eye opening also. Yeah.
From your answer, I could understand that the impact is not just going to be for the students of the School of Business and Public Administration, but also at larger. So if the answer to that is yes, then could you please tell us maybe one or two impacts it will have to our community at large, or let's say at the bigger body, which is the University of the Gambia?
Yeah, so I will start from the general and
Yeah.
then go into the specific. Now, first, what motivates this research because the main problem we face as a country is youth unemployment. So, statistics have shown from the year 2000 to 2015, about 35 Gambian youth lost their life through the bad movement. And this is something disheartening. Maybe one of us who are sitting there, each you have a relative or a brother or sister who have lost their life through the so, but youth are still embarking on this journey, despite the risks that is being involved there. Why? Some of them they don't have hope in their country, in the country. They get up every day without any job to do, so they just want to go out to find a better living country, which they can find in the outside world. But now, if we could use of this country take up the responsibility to change this situation, to change the narrative, or to change the history, that's indeed something promising. Now, from that goal, from that perspective, you can see that the future of this nation is indeed in the right hands. Because now, as I said, the success of every nation is built with vibrant youth population. If the youth of this population are willing to take the job right now, then I can be rest assured, all of us can be rest assured that the future of this nation is indeed in the right hands. So this research develops this sense of, I can say, sense of motivation within them to solve their own problem they are facing. And now, one of the effect now this might have in the country, I can say, it builds a youthful generation who are not depending on government to solve their problem, but are willing to take up the money. They are willing to take the lead, even when the light doesn't seem to shine. So this alone is enough. I can say it's enough. I can say as an impact for this research. Though you have so much to say, but due to time, might just leave it.
I know. Thank you very much for that brief answer. So I'll ask this question to the research director. How do you believe? I know it seems like I've already asked this question, rather have already been answered, but I still would want to ask the research director. How do you believe this research will impact students? I mean, academically.
Yeah, academically, I think Mamadi has mentioned a lot about the impact that it can have on the students. That is the skills that it can give to them. That is the data analysis skill, the also the data collection skills, all these skills that are very instrumental in a student's career, and also it can extend beyond their student's career to also their professional career, because these are highly in demand skills. If you understand data analysis and also understand how to do these tools, I think it will go a long way in helping you in your career to come as a professional. Also, what I want to add that Mamadi has also lamented on is the importance of the research as a whole into the economy. If Mawade has mentioned the high level of youth that are taking on the backway journey, that is a high number of 35,000 that was between 2014 to 2018. So that high number was motivated by the high youth of unemployment, because it was reported that it was 41.5% of our Gambian youth are unemployed. So that is almost half of our Gambian youth unemployed. So that is a crisis, and that is something that we want to solve as a country. That is what we want to solve as students of the University of the Gambia. These are the questions that we should ask ourselves. And how can we solve this problem? So we then identified a sector. So which sector should actually solve this problem or has the potential to solve this problem is the agricultural sector. That is the sector that we are really hoping on to solve these kinds of issues. But the agricultural sector also is actually not really improving, because in 2024 it was reported that it has a negative 1% of growth. So that is a crisis. But if after publishing our report, that is this research report, and the report is followed by the stakeholders and the administration necessary, I think it will go a long way in helping the youths to motivate them to stay in this country and fight for the opportunities that have been presented by the economy.
Deputy, how do you believe this research will benefit and possibly contribute to national development discussions?
Yeah, that's indeed a great question, I can say. Right now, I will just try to link it to a discussion I have for some months back with the CBD officials. As a last month, the Central Bank of the Ghana officials, they came to the embassy in Ghana. Yeah, because we are having their as an upcoming 55th anniversary, I can say. Yeah. With that discussion, they are able to give us some of the I can say the steps we have taken as a country. But among those things, our importation stand out. Gambia, I can say, is a small country, but you import, I can say, almost 90% of all that we consume. Gone are those days when our song used to be, eat what you grow what you eat. But now we live in an era where almost all we consume are imported. And this has an important economic implication. First, it's weakened our GDP, I can say. The high prices we are complaining about, the inflation, this is caused by it. And not only that, the depreciation of Gambian dollars to the CFA, this is caused by it, about the importation we are doing between Ghana and Senegal, I can say. So I can say basically food sufficiency is something important for a nation to thrive. I can say there's this famous saying that used to say, he who feeds you dictates you. So us, I can say basically 95% of our produce have been outside. So those people, they dictate how we live. So if there is, let me say, God forbid, there is any global shutdown in the supply chain, global supply chain, the Gambia will suffer. Basically, all the goods you consume here are also coming from other parts of the world. So if there is any shock in those parts of the world, the Gambia itself will pay the price also. So how do you overcome this? It's through production. You must be willing to produce more than enough to support ourselves. Then the remaining we export it. But if you are importing more than what you produce, then there is a crisis, I can say. So for us to overcome this, we need to produce. And the only sector that you can depend on for this production is the agricultural sector. Recently, statistics have shown the agricultural sector of the Gambia have declined about -1%. Imagine. Some years back, we used to say that agriculture is the backbone of this country. Now, that same sector that should be standing firm to support us is now falling. Why? Because the youthful population of this country, they don't see agriculture as something important. I will tell you this for free. When you go to Senegal, if the youths try to narrate their stories, you'll be happy boy to be a farmer. I'm not fooling you. Some youths will be telling that it's better for them to work in the farm than to be in the government organizations. Imagine, because of the benefit they have received there. If the government youths also are made to understand this reality, I'm sure those undertaking the backward journey will not undertake, because if they know the benefit that is there, they will not be willing to leave the country, while they know that they have every potential to build their future. Some of these stories I can say from these farmers through their interview, you can see the excitement for the job they are doing. Among some of the questions you asked, it's about the income capacity. So it's for personal issues, we don't ask them the exact income, but for them to give us a range. If they give you the range that where their income as an income for, maybe even if at all they are a teacher, a government official, you're willing to leave your work and go to farming. That's true. I'm not over exaggerating, as I say, but these are the true success stories we have collected from Senegal. And that's the same thing we wanted to inform the government news that this is the reality behind agriculture. If they can, invest their time in agriculture, so they can gain this success that they need. Yes. So I have a lot to say, but let me just stop at this point.
I know, right? After this interview, I'm going to start my own farm. So finally, so before we conclude, I would like to ask this final question. In just one sentence, I would ask this is it goes to both of you. In just one sentence, what does the ECOMANSA research trip 2026 represent to you? In just one sentence.
Yeah, the ECOMANSA Research Trip 2026 is a transformational journey that we have undertaken to change the lives of Gambian youths and motivate them to stay in this country, not to risk their lives to the backward journey.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for me, I would just say it is a revolutionary step for the development of this nation. Basically, we went there as national problem solvers and engaged in real world problems. And ECOMANS at this stage, I can say, is actively involving engaging in real world problems to help the government thrive as a nation. So I've I will not have much to say. What I will say, thank you, ECOMANS, for initiating this type of initiative. That would not have been possible somewhere else.
Thank you very much. So before I conclude or wrap up, do you people have anything for our audience?
Yeah, okay. To our audience that are currently watching, the research directorate and the research team will be providing findings through our research through the first phase. We will provide the initial findings that we have had in the data collection in Senegal.
Yes. Once again, I will say a big thank you to every donor, every participant, those who have sacrificed their resources to make this possible. Before you go, I can say as a student association, we are not able to have that required fund. For different people, we have reached out to different organizations who provided funds to us, give us money to make sure that this is possible. We'll have to thank them that to thank them that their efforts have not gone unnoticed. So we really appreciate the funding, the encouragement, and the advice they have given us along the way. We really appreciate it because if without their support, this would not have been possible. And so, for that note, we have to thank them a lot. And to every government organization, those who have funded us this or sacrificed their resources to make sure that this is also possible. We have to thank you also because this are kind of shows us that really the government also with the use of this nation. They are willing to make sure that every struggle or every step they take, they are there to support them, and we really appreciate this for so. And to the general public, I'll say this research trip is not only confined to academic purpose. Yes, the purpose of collecting data is not just maybe to share successful story within among ourselves. No. So this from the farmers we have collected the data. We will inform you that we will try to inform you the best practices that you can able to integrate to be successful youth agri-businesses in the Gambia. To those who provide the technical support also, we are also acknowledging that the efforts you have done, we really appreciate it also. Because as students also, we are only learning, let me say, the theories we have learned in class. Because of this also, we are able to expose ourselves to real world settings and we are able to put the knowledge we learn into practice. And this is more than enough for us as students. Yes, they say every successful leader has a successful beginning. So this for us we will call it a success, even though there are a lot of setbacks I can say. But to us, we are able to navigate the storms through commitment and the effort we have put to make sure that this is successful. So once again, thanks to the general public. And our aim also is to publish this. And once we publish this, the main reason for publishing this is to inform the government or the policymakers that to provide them with a blueprint that this, if you are to spend your money on any agricultural initiative, this is the blueprint for successful youth agri-entrepreneurship businesses. So the findings will be able to inform the policies where to divert their funds and how to gain, let me say, to earn some return back from what they have put in their fund. Yes, I can say funds can be diverted into different places, but the return that the funds will generate also matters. So this research also will inform the policymakers that this is the rightful place you should be investing your money, and this at the end of the day is the benefit you are going to receive. I would say end of it, this will solve the unemployment problems facing as a country. I can say for those who also embarked on the backward journey, we are calling you back. This research is providing solution for you. The findings on this research will give you a good roadmap on how to establish your youth entrepreneurship business. Once again, thank you. We really appreciate the effort, and thanks for SS Media also for uh, hosting this type of programs, because it gives us the opportunity to discuss some of the initiatives we have taken, and we really appreciate that also. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Research Director, Mr. Mohammed, and Deputy Research, Mamadi. Thank you very much for joining us and sharing with us your experience and your insights. I hope our viewers would be impacted, not just impacted. I hope after listening to this, they will be able to read. After when the research is done, they'll be able to read and possibly share with others, and it could impact our country at large, let's say. So this brings us to the end of the ECOMANSA dialogue. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Sahnambai, your host.